punted. Well, this is a series of videos from Netflix discussing Netflix culture myths. And apparently, the next myth to be tackled just got punted, since it's going to be an awkward one to discuss, I imagine. Now, I had no idea that there were any Netflix culture myths, but apparently, Netflix thinks they're prevalent enough that they need to produce some public relations insulation. So, what just got punted? Inclusion and diversity? Oh boy, my favorites!
How is Netflix doing for inclusion and diversity?
Awkward pause.
Well, I'll start off in regards as to the amazing work that Miles has been spearheading with
Miles and Team.
Miles and Team. See, look, I love that. With creating Strong Black Lead.
Strong Black Lead. Okay. What is that? Spearheaded by a group of Black executives at Netflix, Strong Black Lead, quote, represents an intentional focus from Netflix to talk authentically with the Black audience, unquote, said Maya Watson-Banks in an interview with the Los Angeles Times. As Netflix Director of Brand and Editorial, she helps oversee the effort. Quote, Strong Black Lead is relatable and real, always unapologetically Black, and assumes context and knowledge so that content doesn't need to be watered down, unquote. Assumes context and knowledge. So, the presumption that all Black people think alike and value the same culture is that what I am to understand? Through social media channels, they inform audiences about what to watch with or by Black talent and support all things for the culture, she said. The culture. So, there is a focus at Netflix to produce shows and hire talent based on a specific race. Netflix has undertaken an exclusionary initiative that favors some ideas over others and some actors over others due to skin color. Got it.
Which has been something very well supported here. And I mean, we're not going to necessarily solve what's going on in this country and globally as it relates to diversity and inclusion.
You are correct. You are not going to solve anything regarding diversity and inclusion by homogenizing and excluding people and ideas because of their racial origins.
But the efforts that we are taking and the fact of how well supported it is here is huge.
So, because the initiative is well supported within the company that created it, that affirms the goodness of the idea.
And on the hiring front, what actually sort of elevates me or inspires me is that I feel and see people being very intentional about not just categories, but really thinking about what are the voices that are missing from my team, whatever composition that may be, and what am I doing along with my talent acquisition partner to actually sort of supply those voices.
What are the voices missing from my team, whatever composition that might be, and how can you supply those voices? And these are questions Netflix asks itself in regards to diversity and inclusion, where they need to be intentional. All right, now being intentional from almost every presentation that I have ever heard where the term was used when it comes to diversity and inclusion initiatives quite literally means to choose people based on their race and or their gender and or their sexual orientation, etc. In other words, choose people on the basis of attributes that are not determinative of character or merit, but rather of demographic optics. So this way of decision-making is a part of Netflix culture. Got it.
I like that we're not shying away from the conversation.
Oh, yes. You're all so very, very brave.
I think that to me is the biggest thing, is just calling out where things could be better and actually trying to do something about them rather than sweep it under the rug and say, hey, no, we're great, we're so good at this. No, we're not. It's like we can improve, we can always improve, and how can we do that?
How can you improve? Well, obviously, by elevating one race over all others as being in need of attention and visibility, of course.
Of course!
I think like a lot of companies focus on diversity and inclusion, but they do so in a way that feels really artificial, and you can tell like that this is what I'm trying to do and I'm trying to hit numbers. And I think the way that Netflix really tries to approach it is more an authentic way.
Netflix is authentic, not artificial. So, having an initiative called Strong Black Lead is not an artificial metric by which to filter shows to produce or actors to hire. It is, in fact, authentic. Got it.
So with Strong Black Lead, for example, and having built that out and that being your own initiative, or even in the ways that we do different projects, the way that we even talk about it too, I think that's something that for me, I feel is really unique in the way that we approach diversity, and something that I really appreciate because it's about really being authentic about it.
Well, I hate to tell you this, but repeating the magic word authentic does not change the fact that you are cheerleading an agenda of racial filtration. Because rather than just saying, part of our culture is to promote the idea of strong lead characters, which leaves the door open for all sorts of ideas and characters, inclusion, it seems instead that Netflix has decided to play favorites and be divisive and dismissive in their decision-making and hiring decisions. So, I guess diversity and inclusion really is a myth of Netflix culture.
I say we have to call this myth busted.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have 700 hours of Law & Order SVU to binge. And after that, maybe a few episodes of Tornado Hunters. All the while resting assured that Netflix is using my subscription money to promote a racial agenda. Because, that's authentic.
It's about really being authentic about it.
As always, thank you for watching.